All right, all right, all right. We on here, everybody? All right. Looks like we should be. All right. We got some there. Setting up here shortly. All right, there we go. All right, cool. Oops. Get that right there. Cool. Welcome aboard. Welcome, Tom Rourke. What's going on? Welcome to Friday. Do you know where your kids are? Welcome to Friday for sure. We'll get started here shortly. Hello, Scott from Iowa. D Moon, sup? Sup, man? Sup, dude? Sup, D Moon? Sup? Paul? All right. All right. Before I answer any questions, I don't get the question. So we got 4 minutes before I start. And then so James says, should he put his 401k in mutual funds in case the market tanks? I literally have no idea what that question is. I don't understand it. I don't get it. Anyway, so it's an odd question because mutual funds could be invested in the market. Elaborate. All right, so we got the Trumpster who came up with coronavirus today, and everyone's like freaking out. Oh my goodness. Trump is 74. He's a little bit overweight. That's a problem for sure. But again, the coronavirus thing, money markets. I wouldn't. All right. So James says, should he put his 401k in money markets in case the market tanks? I have no idea what your situation is, Jeff. What your situation is, James. But I don't. If you're needing the money, yeah. If you don't need the money, no. That's the way I look at it. So just real quick, the Trump getting a coronavirus, the markets were off like 400 points at some point. And the markets are down. The S&P is down 41 points, so it's down 1.25. No, I'm not worried at all about Trump with the coronavirus. I'm just not. I think a lot of people get way too upset about the president, frankly. And here's the issue: the president himself or herself, at some point, maybe Kristi Noem will be the first woman president. The president herself or himself will. Hey, Nancy. Doesn't do much. The issue is the swamp. I don't know how else people can see this. The president himself is not that big of a deal. I get it. John Roberts validated Obama's executive orders for DACA, and then he could not invalidate that. Trump could not invalidate it because they got something on John Roberts. But at the end of the day, the president himself doesn't carry as much weight as the people he brings in with him to basically clean house. So I'm not all that worried about it. But with that said, I do pray for President Trump and Melania and Hope Hicks and all the people who have got coronavirus. Anyone who says that Trump or any of us on the right said it's a hoax is just lying, just lies. I don't get why the lies. It's kind of like saying Trump never condemned white supremacy. Anyone who says that is lying, and that's simply not true. But just because you get the coronavirus doesn't mean you're dead. It just does not. So, all right, yeah, they'll be just fine. All right, so real quick, James, the issue with James's question is, should he put his money in the money market in case of elections tanks? There's always a reason to go to the money markets, and there's always a reason that you wish you did not. I don't get. I'm just telling you, man. If I'm sitting here today, as I am, I'm 50 years old. I'm still working. I'll be working. Put money in and put money in. Put money in. I'm not doing that. This is the issue: is that is called market timing, and market timing is always a loser's bet because you got to be right on both sides. So, look, if the way I see it, James, if people are having a hard time sleeping at night because the money's in the stocks, then freaking get out. I don't have any qualm with that at all. The funny thing is that what's going to happen, though, as always, is that once the market calms down, it just calms down. And that's when I'll get back in. And what that always means, to calm down, is when it goes back up. And that seems like a way to for sure lose money. All right, so it's new. I'm going to get cracking here on the most epic Roth conversion strategy ever. All right, and this is based on a real life scenario here. So I'm going to share my screen. Hold on a second. I cannot wait to do this. This is going to be awesome. Hold on a second. This can be awesome sauce. And so we're going to share a screen. Let me make sure I got the right one there. Hold on just a second. Share right there. Should be sharing, right? Right. Hold on just a second. Should be sharing my screen. All right. Hold on. Hold on. You should see YouTube there. Hold on just a second. Make sure I got the right one there. All right. Okay, looks good. Looks good. All right. So let's go to Right Capital. We got Daryl and Patty Sample. Hold on just a second. Just want to make sure this goes on there correctly. We got Daryl and Patty Sample. Hold on. Hold on. Just looking at it because I'm about 10 seconds ahead of you guys. Am I not sharing it? Hold on. Hold on. Just looking at it because I'm about 10 seconds ahead of you. All right, why am I not sharing that? Okay, hold on a second. Let me try this again. All right, so that didn't work. Let me go share screen. Why did that not work? You got Daryl and Patty Sample right there. I'll make sure. Let's see if I got this here. Hold on a second. Not now. This should be. Why am I not sharing? Okay, hold on a second. Let me try this again. This should be my retirement on the Wellington Fund book. I want to make sure I'm showing the right thing here. Hold on just a second. All right, sweet. All right, so you see that? Okay, good. By the way, I'm done with this book now. It's all, I've edited it. Now I'm sending it. It's we got the I'll more on that later. All right, so let's go back. All right, cool. So let's go back here. Let's get rid of this. All right, cool. All right, now we're ready to rock and roll. All right, sweet. Share screen. There we go. Crack out. Right Capital. Boink. All right. All right. Here we go, my friends, my amigos. That means my friends in Spanish, in case you guys did not know that. All right. So let's go into this. This is going to be awesome. I just want to make sure we got it on there. Hold on just a second. We got Daryl and Patty Sample. All right, Daryl and Patty Sample. Yeah, sweet. All right, cool. So we got Daryl and Patty Sample here. It's weird. I can't see my face on there. It's kind of strange. Oh, there we go. All right. So what we're going to do here, we're going to go into this. We're going to go to the profile for Daryl and Patty Sample. All right. So Daryl is 57 years old. They live in Georgia. Notice they live in Georgia. He's 57 years old. His better half, Patty, is 54 years old, and they both live in Georgia, right? And the state is irrelevant here for the most part. There's a little bit of things to consider, but the state is irrelevant for the most part. All right, so what's happening here? They got a net worth of about 1.69, about 1.7 million. This is based on somewhat of a real world person. I mean, really, this data is based on real people that we're not going to share with you. All right. Obviously, not gonna share them stuff. We won't see what they got or who these people are. But this is data on someone I just did a retirement plan for the other day. They got 100,000 in bank, checking account, joint. They got 1.3 million in a retirement accounts, of which Daryl has got his 401k. He's got the Vanguard Institutional Target Fund 2030. All right. They got a joint investment account. Let's make that investment. I thought I did. We'll make that a joint investment account. And we're going to make that joint. There we go. We got a joint investment account all in the S&P 500 with a cost basis of 200,000 and a value of 276. Patty's got a small her own 401k as well, as all in the Vanguard Total Stock Index, just for simplicity. Hope you get where I'm going with this. All right. So we have three different accounts. Daryl's got 700. Patty's got 300, and they have a joint investment account and 100,000 sitting in cash. They got a house for us $300,000, no debt on it whatsoever. They got a house worth $300,000, no debt on it whatsoever. All right, with me so far. So their goals now. Their goals. Daryl just hung. He's going to quit at the end of this year. So we're just going to assume he has no income this year, just for simplicity. It doesn't matter. Daryl has been a machinist for 40 years. He got out of high school, went to the factory, went to as a machinist for 40 years. He's just like, I'm done with it. Patty enjoys her job though, right? Patty's like, yeah, it's not the greatest, but I don't mind it. She's fine with it. She's like, I enjoy it. I don't mind staying for a couple more years. All right, so Daryl said, I'm done. I've been a machinist for 40 years. I'm hanging up my boots. Patty says, I can still work a little bit. I don't mind that. And she'll carry the health insurance for Daryl for a couple of years. Now, all right, so let's go into that. That's their goals. Now, their income is Daryl's got no money at all, no salary, but Patty's got $40,000 a year. Now, FYI, this is gross. We were going through this with these guys the other day. Oh, hey, buddy. And our kids are working from home again. Freaking nuts. I don't know if you saw that South Park pandemic special. Actually, it wasn't as good as I was hoping for, but was kind of funny where they talk about everybody working home, being at home from school, and Cartman did not want to go back to school, and everybody else said, I'm going crazy. Nuts this. Anyway, it's a beautiful day here too. They should be outside freaking doing recess and stuff. Stupid. All right, so anyway, right here. Patty's making $40,000. This is gross, by the way. The software will take out taxes, just FYI. All right, so we got no other income, none, no pensions, no nothing. All right, there's Social Security. When Daryl hits full retirement age, he's going to make $31.73 in Social Security. All right, that's what the statement says. Patty, when she hits full retirement age, she'll make $1,700 in Social Security. All right, so Patty will not get a spousal benefit. I hope that makes sense. So just let me go through this stuff real quick, my friends, and then if you have questions, by all means. But let me just go through this. I'm literally not watching the comments right now. So anyway, this is how I do a financial plan, by the way. It's okay. So this is what we're looking at for old Daryl, $31.73. And this is what we're looking at for Patty, $1,700 at full retirement age. All right, now we go to goals again. All right, so Patty's going to work until she's 58. So she's going to work for another 3 years. Hey, buddy, another 3 years or so. All right. Now we got this. This is their retirement expenses. So this is what they need to put food on the table, go to the movies. Daryl likes to go out in the woods and do some hunting and all that, but this is what they need just to put cable, mow the lawn, the whole thing. $2,500 a month. That's $30,000 a year. All right. However, we have discretionary retirement expenses for the next 15 years on top of that. So starting in 2021, they're going to spend an extra $30,000 a year for vacation. You name it, man, having fun. Giving Pablo a gold-plated harness or something like that. It's gonna be fun. All right. So we got other. I just have these in here for anything. But anyway, you can see. So for the initial time while they're retiring, they're going to spend. What's 25? Is that 30? That's 30,000, right? Yeah, they're going to spend 60,000 a year, 5,000 a month in retirement until 2035. Then it's going to stop. Healthcare. How are they going to pay for healthcare? All right. So they're going to have once they have health. So Patty's going to carry healthcare for a little bit, and there's going to be $2,000 a year before Medicare kicks in, because what's going to happen is Patty actually has a pretty sweet setup at her work. Let's just put it that way. Right now it's about $2,000, for her premiums, basically $150 a month or so. And then once she retires, they'll have to cover somewhat of the cost until Medicare, if that kicks in. So they got a pretty good benefit. I don't deny that. But anyway, that's their pre-Medicare healthcare, $2,000, $4,000 a year. So it's still not cheap. We can change this to whatever we want, by the way. But this is pretty spot on for them. Actually, theirs is a little bit less. Again, this is based on real people. Their out-of-pocket expenses, once they hit Medicare, is basically $2,000 a year for each. All right. So they got Part B, which is $145, Part D, which is $45 today, and then Part supplemental and out-of-pocket is about $2,000 each. All right. So, and we're always zeroing out long-term care costs because their long-term care insurance is covered by this right here. All right. It actually is kind of funny because I've been working with some folks lately. We've got, mom in a nursing home and stuff like that. And just various scenarios where you can say, oh my goodness, we need long-term care insurance. And actually they had it covered for sure. On a side note, let me just real quick interrupt. On a side note, I had a guy interrupt myself. he was emailing me. He must be a long-term care insurance salesman, because he's like, adamant that I should do videos on long-term care insurance. I just look, I just don't think it's that big of a deal. I don't think so. In fact, if anything, I think it's cost ineffective. He goes, but you posted a blog post that you have it. I said, I do have long-term care. I do, because I'm under the age of 65, and we have a big fat mortgage, and we have, now we got, 3 kids to feed on my income. And if I were to die with this big fat if I were to go to nursing home with this big fat mortgage, my wife would be destitute. So we need that long-term care. However, when I get older, I'm not going to have long-term care. I'm just not. I'm going to get rid of it once I hit 65 for sure. I'll probably get rid of it before that, frankly. Once the kids are out of the house, I'll get rid of it. Then Charlotte, she'll have to, downsize. She'll have to sell the house. She'll have to bust into our investment accounts, whatever, under the unlikelihood proposition that she needs long-term care for any significant amount of time from me. She'll have to pay for it out of cash flow. Or she'll have to downsize, and that's welcome to the world. I see Lydia Santiago is on here. I like Lydia. She seems like a nice lady, but Lydia says, Lydia, we never thought coronavirus was a hoax. I will always hold you against that, saying that we thought it was a hoax. So I like Lydia. She has My Investment Journey. I imagine that's a YouTube channel. By all means, check it out. I don't know anything about Lydia, but she was saying, you guys think coronavirus is a hoax? Never said that. I'm always going to hold her accountable for that. But anyway, by all means. And we all are welcome here, Lydia, the left and the right and everybody in between. All right, so let's go on to this. That sample last name does a lot of business with. That's right. That's right, Rob. All right, so let's go on this. All right, so now, this is where it gets fun. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at investments. All right, so we're going to say investments. So you can see they're basically 100% stocks for the most part. And this is on it's funny talking to Michael Edison the other day, because, look, man, how can I say this? Is that, I don't know if you saw my interview I do with Edison, but we were debating politics. And remember old Mary G? I don't know if she's on here or not. She's like, you guys are boring. It's like, well, it's called being polite, dude. It's weird. I'm not going to yell at Michael Edison. He's not going to yell at me if we have a disagreement, for heaven's sake. We actually agreed a lot more than we disagreed on, which tends to be, I think, mostly in America. And most people are human beings. They agree on more than they disagree. I loved him because he said, we can't have a carbon-free, we'd never have a carbon-free energy without having nuclear. I said, man, praise the Lord. Hallelujah, man. Hallelujah. I'd be happy to go away from fossil fuels if we can go nuclear. I got no qualm with that at all, but you can't have it. Anyway, it was interesting because talking to Edison, he and I were in complete agreement on the returns expectations for markets. He said 2% bonds. I say 2% bonds. He said about 7% stocks. I say 6.5%. So Edison is probably the smartest guy in the room. So if Edison is believing about 7% stocks and 2% for bonds when he's running his own Monte Carlo scenarios, I am doing the same. And I do mine based on the Vanguard Capital Markets models, the VCMM, by the way. The Vanguard Capital is a model market. And they do it kind of like 10-year increments. They say every year they do a new 10-year assessment. And I just use those over the course of a retirement plan. So I'm saying basically in this case, an 80-20 portfolio, you're getting 5.9% rate of return with a 13.3% standard deviation, by the way. Standard deviation, a historical norm, the rate of return historically low. Never had a 30-year time frame with an 80% stock to 20% bonds. We only got 5.9%. It's never happened in the history of the American stock market. Could that happen? Absolutely. I have no idea, but it's never happened. People say, well, what's this over here? Target allocation. It doesn't mean anything. It's just something I put on there just to show you. It literally has nothing to do with anybody. So every time I change this right here, it should change on your right capital as well. I got the magic hands. But it has nothing to do with what I think you should do. It does not, just you can see. And I think if you follow my man, Daniel Coolibert, if he's on here, I don't see Daniel, but Daniel Coolibert's YouTube channel, Kulibert, he can show you how you can actually manipulate this data as well. All right, so the first thing we're going to go is first thing I do is we're going to pod the like button. Here you go, buddy. All right, so we're going to let Pablo out, and then you're going to pod the like button. All right, so the first thing we're going to do, we're going to go down to current plan. And so what I've done here is I went to retirement, and we're going to go down to proposed plan. We're going to make sure all these things are aligned. Boink. We're going to come up here. All right. So bear with me just un momento, as we like to say. All right. So what we're doing here is we're going to retirement planning. All right. So we have 100% probability of success. They're going to leave 2.3 million in liquid assets, does not include a house at their death, and that is adjusted in today's dollar. So inflation has already been taken out. So then we're going to go to cash flows. And I'm going to show you cash flows. All right. So what's happening here? Here's what's her name? Patty's cash flows right here. Income flows of $40,000. There. Let's go to expenses. All right. So we're going to check this out real quick. We're going to go to expenses, and we got living expense. That's $2,500. We got healthcare, and we got other expense, which is, I don't even know what the other expense was. Property tax. We probably should have got rid of that. But anyway, okay. So we got property tax. Hold on just a second. Don't I already have that property tax in here? I don't. Okay, good. So we're just going to leave that as a separate line item. All right. So we have all these expenses are, let's go back to retirement cash flows. All right. So we got expenses. So their baseline expenses is 2,500. They got health care. So basically it's just 2,000 a month for old, what's his name there? Daryl, or 2,000 a year. Because Patty's still working. The other expenses are what we just did right there. Other expenses are going to be for a property tax and homeowners insurance. And then when all said and done, their total expenses, non-discretionary, are 35 to 36,000. All right. However, they also have goals. All right. So their goals here are 30,000 a year. We have a vacation. It could be anything. So their total expenses are right there, 75,000, 76,000, 78,000. That does include taxes right there, right? 78,000, 75,000, all that. And look, we can adjust healthcare if we need. We're just going off what these people had. We can always adjust it to show you, oh my goodness, we're all going to die. Do you know if you eat carrots, if you eat carrots, you will die. If you eat carrots, you will die. All right, so we got 75, 80,000, 90,000 expenses, but they got no income whatsoever. We're at no income. So where's this money coming from? Well, because they have no income, they also have no taxes, right? Now, let's take a gander at what this is going to look like. So we're going to look at the tax scenario. Oh, my lands, look at that. That's starting to get pretty ugly. Look at that. So we got FICA for Miss Patty. They got no taxes here other than the state of Georgia. They start paying a little bit more taxes here, and then it just creeping. Then we got the widow's tax trap right there, which we'll dive into. That starts to look pretty ugly. In fact, if we go to the 1040, let's check it out. We'll go to 2027 for simplicity. So here they got, this is what I tell people all the time. If you have no income, but you're living on your investments that have already paid tax on, you got no income other than post-tax, your savings account, your investment account, it doesn't flow to your 1040. Look, they got no income. They got 30 right here. That's from a capital gain. They got $35,000 of capital gains, but after standard deduction and after personal exemption, they're still in the 12% tax bracket, so they have no income. That's just from a capital gain. But listen, I got to be clear. If you had $1 billion sitting in a checking account and you spent $1 million a year, you would have no income. None. You'd have no income tax whatsoever. There'd be nothing on the 1040. I cannot stress this enough. If money comes from a savings or checking account, it does not flow to your 1040. Now, the interest that you make in there does, but in terms of you spending money, it doesn't show up on a 1040. It's almost like a business. Most businesses, when I was a commercial banker, we had two books, a set of books for the IRS and then a real set of books. And that's not to manipulate the tax code. I mean, to be, avoid taxes. It's just say, look, I keep a book for the IRS and I keep a book for real. That's how every business runs. And to say that's, it's just silly. Anyone will say, that's not fair. And that's how it runs. So you have two books. One is how much you have to put on your 1040 and one is for your real life living. So what we have here, we got no income at all because on the 1040, but they're living off money. They're living off money because they're pulling money from their investments accounts. So if we go to retirement, all right, we're going to show you the cash flows, retirement cash. That's in 2027. Remember that, 2027. And we're going to say, okay, 2027, well, they need $79,000. I mean, they need $44,000 of expenses, just regular living expenses plus healthcare. Their goals are $34,000. So you combine those and these basically 80,000. Where's that money come? We're going from accounts. We're going to go to accounts and we're going to say withdrawals from accounts. And you can see right here, 2027, it's all coming from the taxable account, all coming from their taxable portfolio. It's withdraw, withdraw, withdraw. All right, now with that tax, then we can go here to ending balance right here. That taxable portfolio will be gone in 2028, for which when then they're going to have to start taking money from their 401ks and IRAs. All right, so you can see how that works. And what's going on here is that what's going to happen is pretty soon they'll have to start taking less. So they have taxable accounts, they're pulling money out, pulling money out, pulling money out. And then what happens is they have required minimum distributions where they don't have any money to pull out. Their Social Security will cover it all. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So we go here. We're going to go down to 2000 when they're both on 2038. They got 89,000 of their expenses right here in 2038 are $69,000, and that's going to cover. We probably would want to put that goals a little bit higher, but anyway, that's going to cover 2038 their expenses. That's going to cover their living expense plus their health care plus their property taxes, homeowners insurance. So their total expenses are $69,000. Where is that money coming from? Well, it's coming from they're going to get Social Security. So in 2038, they got $89,000 of Social Security, if that makes sense. Hope you're following that. Now, what happens is now they're going to start having some pretty significant planned distributions. That's mandatory distributions. Look at that, 108,000. So we fast forward to 2040, they got $203,000 of income, 109 from our RMDs, and 93,000 from Social Security. And we keep going up. You can see where that income starts getting more and more and more. In fact, what's going to happen is because that income is growing, we can start looking at healthcare. You can see a big jump right there. Let's just look at healthcare. You can see a big jump right. Oops. Right. Where was it? They're going to start paying IRMA. I saw that big. Where was that big jump? Right to 40. Right here. So you can see a big jump in 2052. It went from 45,000 in Medicare to 58,000 because of the IRMA. And that's only going to get worse. Biden, it doesn't matter who wins, they're going to tax you more and more for Medicare because Medicare is dying on the vine. So you can see right here that we'll just go to Daryl's retirement goes from 9,600 to 14,214. That's just because the Part B, Part D premium increases because of IRMA. And now that won't be reflected on the tax code, but it is or it won't be reflected in this scenario here when the tax, when we look at this, but it's in there. It absolutely is in there. All right. So let's keep cracking. All right. So these guys are sitting pretty. They're sitting pretty. Unfortunately, if we do nothing, we're going to go down here. We're going to say cash flows, and we're going to say, okay, that's good. Now I'm going to hit my man Daniel Kuhlbert's little tool here, and they're going to pay 1,068 in taxes. Let me get my trusty. Oh man, what did I do? Right here. So we're going to pay 1,068 in total taxes. And if you haven't watched Daniel's, video on how I did that, watch. It's called a bookmarklet. It's a little bit contrived. You got to figure it out. It's not all that hard. It takes a little bit. You're like, did I do that right? And then it just works. It's weird. So every single time I don't think I did it right, then it magically starts working. So I just clicked on his little bookmarklet. It can calculate all this for us. So basically what you'll see is tax payment of 1,068 million. Now I also want to go to accounts. All right. And we're going to go to ending net worth. We got in this, oops, right there. So right here. All right, so their ending net worth, we got a total of 2.166 in deferred accounts and 4.307 in taxable accounts. Now, this assumes a 5.9% linear rate of return. So, I mean, just be advised, this assumes a 5.9 linear. If you want to get the real gauge, like a Monte Carlo, this is what this analysis will show right here. All right, so hold on just a second. So this right here is your Monte Carlo analysis. It says 2.38 million is your median liquid net worth at death, liquid net worth. And you can see if you go to confidence, this is the median, that dark blue vein right there. And you can see it's 2.3 liquid net worth as the median at death. Now, sometimes you got 7.359 liquid net worth, and sometimes you have 637 between the 5% outliers. But the median is a good place to go. All right, and again, that has already been adjusted for inflation. All right, so we pay 1.06 million in taxes. All right, we're leaving 2.166 million in taxable assets to kids, and 4.307 million in post-tax money to kids. All right, now it's going to get fun. Everybody with me so far? All right, sweet. So now what we got to do, my friends? All right, we got to go up to here, hit tax. And we're going to say, well, what if? And we're going to go down to distributions, tax distributions. Oh, I love this. All right. And what's going to happen is you're going to see this little chart thing right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to make this standard, bear with me, and then we're going to say, all right. So we're going to make that standard, and then we're going to say, we're going to fill up the 10 to 12%, the 12% tax brackets with Roth conversions. Did you see this switch right here? Let me show you again. So watch this. You should see this blue ocean right there, and the tide's going to go out. So the tide just went out right there. All right, so watch that. Tide just went out. All right, now the tide's going to come back in. That's a 10% filling up the tax bracket, but we want to hit the 12 to 15%, and the tide comes in. So what we're doing here is we're converting up to the extent of our 12, the TCJA, that's the Tax Cut and Jobs Act from the Trumpster, to the pre-TCJA, which will be 15. So we're going to convert to the 12 to 15% tax bracket. All right, so what we're doing here is just, okay, if we are going to do Roth conversions, which we absolutely should, we want to convert between the 12 to 15% tax bracket and stay in that category. What does it look like? And we go over here to details. And the software is going to tell us exactly what to do. It's going to say convert 66,000, allowed to start 2021, convert 68,000, convert 71,000, convert 73,000, convert, you can see it. It says convert, convert, and convert. And then by the time 2040 rolls around, you got nothing left in your pre-tax accounts, nothing. All right, so we got tax deferred account balance, taxable account balance, and tax-free account balance. Let me just show you something real quick. Now, I know I'm flying for this, but man, it's so great. If we go to investment and we go to tax allocation, what we're going to see here is we have all of our money right here. And we have some money here. That's the money we're going to live on and pay tax on, where we're moving this money over here. So we want this money to come over here. So ultimately what's going to happen is this money will be zeroed out to some degree, and this money will be over here and tax-free. So this is what the, if you go to investments, you go to tax allocation. This is not great tax allocated. It's not. Thankfully, they got some money over here. Most people have no money in taxable accounts, which is why I am building up my taxable accounts. I do not have any 401k. I do not have any pre-tax. I mean, I have a pre-tax IRA. I'm not contributing to it. I'm willing to pay the tax man now, so I can have tax-free money later on, if that makes sense. So I'm freaking huffing and I'm puffing and I'm huffing and I'm puffing. I put money into the VTI every single 2 weeks. I put money into VTI after tax, because I want that puppy available to me at all times, but also because it's such a wonderful, from a tax perspective, having post-tax money when you hit retirement is so much better. All right. So now what's going to happen is we are doing tax, we're filling up the tax brackets. And again, the distribution will tell us exactly what this looks like. It's going to say, look, man, if you're going to do that, that's great. Yeah. Now, look, we're paying our taxes from distributions here. Now, we could argue if that's the most best way to go or not. For right now, we're just going to table that. We're saying we're going to pay our taxes from our savings and our investment account, and we're going to go ahead and convert and convert and convert and convert. And what's happening here is our tax deferred account balance is growing or going down. It's like a seesaw. Tax deferred is going down, tax free is going up. Look at this. So by the time 2039 rolls around, we got $2 million in tax free, nothing in tax deferred, and a couple bucks in a tax a post-tax account. All right, so you ready? Watch this. All right, this is gonna be awesome. Who's ready? Now we're gonna go to current. Oh, now we gotta go back to retirement. And we got to go down here. Now, some of y'all might not have this distribution strategy. Unfortunately, if you don't, you got to email me so I can get it up for you. I wish I could just do it for one person, but we got 204 people watching here, so I'm sure I'm going to be inundated with the emails. That's fine. This is a relatively new, probably 4 months ago, to Right Capital really put this out there to make it freaking awesome. So I have not, I should probably just go back and do it for everybody, but it is a pain in the butt. I got to do it for each person. I go and click. So I'm just going to say, if you don't have this where it says distribution strategy, I need to go in there and do it for you, because I don't think Dan Kohlberg was able to figure out how to do that for me. For you can do it yourself. So if you don't have a distribution strategy, I need to do that, because what happens is you got this distribution strategy and you hit current strategy. No, we want to go to distribution. So it's a drop down box. You hit distribution and you hit refresh. And what happens here? Check this out. What? We're leaving more money? 2.477 million is our median? What? 2.477 million. That's an extra $100,000 we're leaving to heirs. What the heck? That's crazy, man. What's going on there? And if we go to, let's go to where we want to go, cash flows. We're leaving 2.47 million, all right? And we're going to go to accounts. And we're going to go to ending balance by accounts. That's current plan. We want to go to proposed plan. You got to let it wind down a little bit. It's working. And we're going to go to Roth. So by the time we die, we're leaving 6.2, zero tax deferred, 6.286 in Roth, and 594 in taxable. I'm writing that down so I can compare. Now, this is what Biden wants to get rid of right here, the step up in basis. And he's an ass clown for wanting to do that. That actually ticks me off. Talk about a tax on middle class investors and savers. Got rid of the step up basis is actually, if you ever wanted a reason not to vote for freaking Sniffy Joe, that's it right there. And some of those other parts of the tax plan, I don't mind. I had no qualm with getting rid of QDI. And I've actually argued this, get rid of QDI on people making more than $1 million. Get rid of long-term capital gains, have them pay tax as ordinary income for people making more than $1 million. I got no qualm with that. But getting rid of the step-up basis is a huge middle-class tax increase for sure. Because you know what your biggest asset is? It's your home. And there is a step-up in basis in your home. Oh, but I can sell it tax-free. You have to be alive to sell it tax-free. You've got to be alive. If you're dead and if you had given it to your children, which is dumb, don't do that. At death, there is no step up a basis. They're going to inherit your cost basis, which means they turn around and sell it. They're going to get hammered. I'm just telling you right now, anyone who thinks that Sniffy Joe's tax plan is good for middle class doesn't know what they're talking about. It's bad. If you have to have a no step up basis on the sale of your home, that is a huge tax hit to middle class taxpayers. There's no other way around that. And on a side note, folks, do not add your freaking kid's name to the deed on your home. That is a gift. It's subject to gift tax. You're not gonna have to pay a gift tax, but it is subject to gift tax. That's a gift. And if you gave more than $15,000, you're supposed to fill out an IRS form 709. No one ever does that. It's not gonna be subject, but you're still supposed to fill it out. But part B is that you've eliminated half of the step up in basis. Don't do that. I can't tell you how bad of a tax planning that is. You're giving your basis over as opposed to inheriting that. Anyway, that would be a hill to die on for the Republicans to say there's no way we're getting rid of step up basis. That's nuts. But be it as it may, if you have a Roth IRA, you don't have to worry about it. You see what I'm saying? So in this case, Sniffy Joe or not, the kid is getting 6.286 million in a Roth, and while he will have to find out what the hell cost basis is on this, but no one will ever be able to find that out. At least he gets the money from Roth tax free. All right, so let's go back to cash flow. Let's go back to analysis. Let's see how much taxes we end up paying. Right? So we're gonna go back to my man Daniel Kuhleberts. His little bookmarklet, and we're gonna hit this guy right here, and we're only paying $340,000 in taxes. We went from 1.06 to $340,000 in taxes. You don't want to know why? We're gonna go here. Oh, look at that. Oh, yay. Look at that. Nothing. Nothing. So let's go to what the 1040 looks like. All right, so we're going to go to 2030. Let's go to 2030. And you can see we got a small amount of Social Security. You got a large IRA distribution. That's going to be your Roth conversions. So that's going to make right there 85% of your Social Security subject to income tax. So you have $125,000 of AGI. Subtract your personal exemption, subtract your standard deduction, and we have $98,000 of taxable income. $98,000 of taxable income, which means we're paying $13,000 of income tax. This is just to the feds. Won't be to the state of Georgia, because if you're over 65 and you're married, you can have $65,000 per person. You don't have to be married. If you're 65 in the state of Georgia and you have $65,000, hey buddy, $65,000 of retirement income, you don't pay any tax on that retirement income. So for a married couple, it's $130,000, no taxable income whatsoever. Give me a kiss. Oh, look at that guy. Look how cute. Look how cute. Oh yeah, I got to paw the like button if you haven't done it yet. All right, so anyway, so you can see right there, they got no income except their IRA distributions. They had taken $36,000 Social Security. They pay $13,000 of taxes. And if we go back to the tax, that would be an effective tax rate of about let's see, about 10% or so. All right, but now let's keep going. Let's go back to 1040, and we're going to go back to 2036. Oh, big man. Oh, big man. Yes, I do love the big man. And we're still doing Roth conversions. All right, so we got $80,000 of IRA distributions, i.e. Roth conversions, $85,000 of Social Security, of which 85% of that is subject to taxation. $120,000 is our taxable income, and we have $17,000 of taxes due. Now let's go to 2040. Ready? Check this out. Oh my lands! Oh my lands! 93,000 of Social Security. 93,000 of Social Security. You leaving me? Only 9,000 of that is subject to taxation. After standard deduction and after personal exemption, we pay no taxes whatsoever. None. It's a thing of beauty. But we're not done yet. Look at that. No taxes. We got $100,000 roughly of income and no taxes at all, ever, to the state of Georgia or to the feds. How awesome is that? All right, it's going to get better though. Hang tight. So what we do is go back to retirement. Oh, if that's not a thing of beauty, I don't know what is. So not only leaving more money in total amounts, we're leaving more money tax free. So we're leaving essentially, he's going to get basically in this case 6.7 million tax free, whereas before he was going to get 2.16 million of that he had to pay tax on. So we're leaving hundreds of thousands. We're leaving about probably $1 million more when all is said and done to the kid, because before he had 2.166 million of deferred assets. We put him in a 25% tax bracket, which you should, because they got rid of the Secure Act. He's going to lose 25% of 2 million to the IRS. And that's $500,000. 25% on $1 million is $250,000. 25% on $2 million is $500,000. On top of that, he has another. We're not even counting the state of Georgia, and on top of that, we got another 100,000 right here. So basically, just by doing some Roth conversions, we're increasing the amount of money we're giving to the kids by $1 million. We haven't decreased our probability of success for retirement at all. Now check this out too. Let's go back to cash flows. Where'd Pablo go? All right, so we're gonna go back to cash flows here. What I want to do, we're gonna go to, I wanted to go someplace. Oh yeah, so here's the taxes. I mean, look, man, if you're already, I guarantee, this is what I was working with these guys the other day. You know, they're gonna pay 14,000 of taxes in 2020. Well, they're already paying that, because after FICA and after the income tax that they have when they're both working, they're already used to paying that kind of taxes. So we're saying 15,000, 19,000, 20,000, 23,000, and so on, until right here they pay nothing, no taxes at all. Oh, but it's going to get even better. Watch this. We go back to tax. All right. Ooh, Nelly. We go back to distributions. We close the door. Now what we want to do is we want to make sure that we fill up the 22% bracket. So check this out. The tide's coming in. We're going to fill up the 22% tax bracket. Oh, you ready? So if we do the 22% tax bracket, we're going to convert 157, 161, 165, 211, 145, 85. And then watch, tax deferred account balance. By the time you hit 2027, it's gone. When does the TCJA expire? Expires right here, 2026. Man. The tax life. You know how they got the salt life things on people's pickup trucks? And then some people got, was it lake life or something like that? Mountain life, something like that. I'm going to get a thing that says the tax life. Because look how no more money in tax deferred accounts, nothing. So let's see what this looks like from the chart, shall we? Oh, man. Oh, what? Look at that. Nothing. From the time you're 65 on, you pay no more taxes. Let's look at my man Daniel Coolbert's bookmarklet, see how much we end up paying in taxes total. You go to cash flows. Oh, man. It's freaking awesome. We hit this guy right here. We pay $327 in total taxes. Now, what was for me before, the other people, they went from 1.2 to 600 to 300. So in this case, not a huge savings in taxes, in total tax. A little bit. They're still saving about 13,000 in total taxes. The guys at the real world people is a huge savings. So again, 1.2 million to 600 to 300,000 is nuts. Now, here's the issue. They're stroking some serious checks: 42,000, 49,000, 50,000, 51,000, 45,000, 43,000. But then we go to 2028. Let's look at the 1040 on 2028. Oh, he's back. All right. What's up, big man? 2000. So let's just look at 2026. You can see 206,000 is the conversion amount we're doing. We're not on Social Security yet, so we got to pay tax on that 206,000 conversion. Let's go to 2028 though. It's like there's nothing. There's nothing. Look at that, 2028. But wait a second, Josh. You're saying we don't make any money? No, I'm not saying that at all. Because watch, look at that. We got nothing. See, look at that. It's just goose eggs across the board. Where'd he go? Look at that. 2028, nothing. Oh, we're still making money. We're still living on something. Let's go to retirement. We're going to go to cash flows again. And we're going to go to accounts. All right. Ending balance by account. So what we're doing is we're withdrawing from accounts. And you can see in 2028, we took all of our money from the Roth. But the Roth is tax-free. So it literally does not flow back to your 1040. Nothing shows up on your 1040. And then, of course, once we hit Social Security right here, there's no distributions from the Roth, because the Social Security is all we need. In 2036, if we go to tax in 2036, watch this. Details. We got 85,000 Social Security. That's all we need, and no income tax, nothing. And yet, if we need more, it's coming from the Roth. I mean, it's nuts. I mean, we could literally sit here today and say we need a 300,000 from the Roth, and well, let's just do that. We'll add a box. We'll go back to a profile, and we'll say is it goals. And we will say other goal. We're going to say we need $100,000 just for simplicity. And this one time, we're going to do that in 2036. We can do it for whatever we want. 2036. Oops. Awesome. I love it. I love this software. So for you guys who are like, are you ever going to get rid of the software? If they start contributing to BLM, yes, but other than that, no. I love it. All right, so here we're going to 2036. All right, so we have a big, $100,000 distribution, 2036. Don't you growl at me, sucker. 2036. Let's see what we got. 2036. You can see in 2036, nothing. There's no, I mean, because it doesn't flow to your 1040. Isn't that crazy? If we go to retirement, good boy. Remember I said how much I love Pablo? We go to retirement cash flows. We got, let's see here. We got goals right there. Right there. Goals, 2036. What's that goal coming? Where's that coming from? Man, your breath stinks, buddy. Jeez Louise. Woo! Let's go to withdrawals from accounts. Man, you got to brush them chops right there from the Roth. 2036, go back to tax. Man, you got to brush them chops, buddy. Woo! This guy. And you can see nothing. There's nothing. Oh, how awesome is that? Oh, I love it. All right, so let's jump into some comments here because what a thing of beauty. And you can play around with this till you're blue in the face on this tax stuff. There's all kinds of different things in here. I'm just showing you the newer thing that Right Cap has created, this right here, where they give you the details. And one of you all, the ones who pointed this out to me, I forgot who. I said, man, that is awesome. They got this comparison thing. I haven't really messed with much. Proposed strategy tax-free, proposed strategy without doing anything. You can see taxable, 89% of the, right here, 72% of the portfolio will be taxable, 27% will be tax deferred at death. Here, 89% is tax-free. I mean, it's just so many. You can play around this till you're blue in the face. Pro rata, just do whatever you want. Tax deferred. I have not done anything here. I'm just kind of giving you the gist of what's going on here. It's freaking nuts. I love it. Hell, you can say, let's just we'll fill up this bucket right here. I got no idea what that looks like. It's got to look pretty ugly. Let's see what we got here. We're going to do one fell swoop. It looks like 2 of taxes. Just move everything over in one fell swoop and be done with it. Let's go to cash flows. Get this booklet, bookmarklet that Daniel Kuhlbert's YouTube channel has, because I tell you, this is huge. So here we're going to pay $225,000 in taxes. Let's go to, so if you did one fell swoop, you're going to pay more taxes by about $100,000. Yeah, $100,000. See, you don't want to do one fell swoop because right there you're going to pay more tax. But all right, so let me just stop and we'll hit some chats here because I just, oh my goodness. Where is the channel? Hold on just a second. What happened? Let me go find a. All right, hold on just a second. I'm trying to find the. Oh, there we go. All right, cool. All right, so here we go. So that, my friends, is the most epic Roth strategy you've ever seen in your life. Now, a couple of things I want to point out, and then we'll start diving into some things here. If you have a pension, this is tough. And this is why I say to a lot of people who've got even relatively small pensions, but let's just say you have a pension of $25,000 a year. You're automatically, if you're single, you're automatically in the 12% tax bracket. You're automatically the 12%. And so any Roth conversions are going to put you in the 22% bracket. And that might not be advantageous. In fact, I'd say more often than not, it's not advantageous. If you're married filing jointly and you have a pension, it's going to be more advantageous than someone who's single, because remember, if you're married filing jointly, the facts are you will have higher taxes in the future because you will die and your wife will not, or your wife will die and you will not. You're going from a married filing jointly couple to a single taxpayer, which inherently means you're going to have more in taxes. That's the widow's tax trap. So a lot of times, if you have a pension, if you're single with a pension, it doesn't make sense to do Roth conversions. It just does not. If you're married with a pension, it's wishy there. I mean, it's iffy. There's no right or wrong answer. And the pension, if it's a $4,000 a year pension, that's fine. But if it's 20 or 30 or 40,000, I had a guy the other day with like a 60,000 pension. Awful hard to convince me to do Roth conversions. Now, he might have decided to do it on his own. That's fine. I can't give you the blessing to say go ahead and go forward, my son, and do Roth conversions, because it's just, in that case, I didn't see a huge benefit of it. If you don't have a pension, man, dude, and you're not thinking about Roth conversions. If you're married with no pension, you're not thinking about Roth conversions. There's something wrong with it, man. You got to be thinking about this. And again, so lastly, and one of the reasons this is so beneficial to these people as well is because they also have outside IRA money in which to pay the tax on, in which to live on while they're doing Roth conversions. So a lot of times I'll have a guy who's got nothing but Roth IRAs, tax deferred accounts, a guy and a lady, and we're like, I want to do Roth conversions. Well, the taxes got to be paid from someplace. So for every 50,000 of Roth conversions he wants to do, it's going to cost him $60,000 because the $10,000 roughly of taxes has to come from someplace. And so in this case, he wants to net 50,000. Well, it's going to take 60,000 out of the IRA for which to make a 50,000 net conversion. A lot of times that still works, but there's some areas where it doesn't work that well. Again, that's one of those 50-50 ones right there. That I'm just telling you, that's why building up post-tax accounts, I'm in a pretty high tax bracket, and I don't care. I want to get that government monkey off my back. And the best way to do it is just to build up your after tax. It just gives you so much more flexibility, my friends. It really does. Now, in this case, the lady had, she was still working. She was getting a pretty good retirement contribution for her 403B. So because of that, we still wanted her to put money into the 403B to take advantage of the match. If you don't have a match and you're married, I don't know, I would be doing any 401k contributions at all. I just don't. If you don't have a match and you're married, I don't, it's hard to find a benefit in that at all for me. I think if you're married and you don't have a match, you should just be doing Roth out the gate. And if you make too much money where you can't contribute to a Roth, just doing a taxable account like what I do. That's what I think is the best strategy for sure. All right, so let's see what we got here. I hope that made sense, guys. Bill says his brother lives in Chattanooga. He may be using my services. Right on. Well, Bill, if he's a friend of yours, I have to raise my fee to $1 million. All right. Just a joke, people. Relax. Yellow says we're stealing from smoke from fires here in California. He's all over it. Bill says the downside is way greater than the potential upside. That's the I in a lot of ways I agree with that. It depends on your overall scenario. If I'm 2 years out and I'm sitting there thinking I got 2 years to go before I hang up my boots, the downside is a 35% downside, is what we witnessed back in March. The upside is what, 10? We had a 30% upside in 2019, I grant you. But that was, that's not very likely. So I would say if I'm 2 years out and I don't have enough cash to cover 3 to 4 years expenses, I'm absolutely going to put some money into that market, the cash bucket, to make sure I get those 3 to 4 years expenses covered. Because the downside, and don't forget, losses always hurt more than gains help. That's all there is to it. Remember, I cannot stress this enough. A 10% decline needs an 11% return to break even. A 50% decline needs a 100% return to break even. And so losses are more painful than gains are helpful, if that makes sense. So I just think it really depends on where you are in your retirement plan. Kelly SQ Pizza, yum. What is that? All right. Well, never heard of Kelly SQ. Trump can't debate now because we'll see. Mexico, says Kevin Bailey. All right. Rob says, why are we talking about Kelly Square Pizza, man? Is that someone out there or something like that? Is that what you're eating there, Rob? Because, man, I love me some pizza, that's for sure. Dan said, all right, Dan. Yeah, Dan's moved to New Hampshire. He used to go there all the time, Kelly Square Pizza. So Dan and Rob are going to have a fisticuffs about who knows that part of Massachusetts best. You guys should watch my man, the Turtle Boy from YouTube channel, Turtle Boy Sports. He's up your neck of the woods. Holden, I think is where he's out of. Holden. Let's see. All right, so we're laughing at a guy. See, well, the funny thing is we never laughed at people who got COVID-19. That's what's weird about Lydia Santiago. She's laughing at him. All right, whatever. Samples sure get a lot of vice. Right on, man. Rob's wife thinks Trump's COVID is a lie. If it's a political ploy, I don't see how it helps him. All right, let's see. Mary is the reason why box wine. Mary G. Is Mary G back? Oh boy. All right, let's see. My wife and I both had the virus of Roberto, very mild symptoms. No reason to shut the country down, though, for us. I couldn't agree more. Roberto. I guess there's Daniel Kulibert. Yep, he's on here. So his YouTube channel is just Dan Kulibert, Kulibert. If you're not buying his spreadsheets, you're wrong. That's all there is to it. I mean, literally, if you're a spreadsheet junkie, as I am, and many of you are, not buying Dan stuff is the wrong answer. It'd be this equivalent of voting for Sniffy Joe. Don't do that. And like, I don't know what Dan's politics are. He might be the biggest lib there is. I don't know. Frankly, don't care. His spreadsheets are kick ass. Let's see. All right. If you have large app taxes, you should be receiving a lot of taxable income. Carrots cause death when you're 90. Yep. They do have, okay, let's see. Anyway, that's what, okay, what else we got on here? Too much income doesn't exist in my world. Okay. There are multiple tax questions on so many layers. Maybe you could do a running series by category. I have, so Jill says she has a third of her post-tax money, but it's already in my, a third of my post-tax money is in my Roth. I live on that to get first. Yeah, right on. So Jill's doing the right thing. So she's living on her post-tax money to get more converted. That's absolutely the way to do it for sure. For most people. I mean, but you got to run the software, the run numbers. And remember, the tax code, while that's fluid and the software is fluid as well, I just got to remember it changes, man. So you got to keep, just because it says, this is what drives me crazy. I need a written plan. I'm like, why? I mean, the minute we do this, it's going to be irrelevant tomorrow because everything changes. And I tell people this all the time. I had a guy, nice guy, but about 2 years ago, his plan had like a 96% probability of success. And this is when I stopped taking on young folks because it was irrelevant, frankly. And then we had that was like that 20% decline back in the latter part of 2018. His plan success went to 77%. And I said, just because the market's down. I mean, it just literally has nothing to do with anything, just the market being down, but he still had 20 more years left to work. I said, it literally could matter not. By the way, Austrian Revolution, Mises University, Ludwig von Mises, Austrian Revolution. So go to Mises.org to get you one. Yeah, get you one. We call it the Chinese virus because it's from China. You know what I'm talking about? Who can quote me on that? We call it the Chinese virus because it's from China. Yeah. Anyone know who I'm talking about there? So get you an Austrian Revolution, Mises University shirt. Oh my goodness, National Socialism. Nothing could be further from the truth. In fact, if I can find it. Oh man. I was hoping to find my Human Action book by Ludwig von Mises, but I can't find it back there. Oh man. I know I got it back there. Ludwig von Mises, the man of all men. All right, let's see. The real question is strategy. How much income can you make on the capital? I do not support raising taxes on anyone. I don't think it matters what you support. Harry, is going to happen, brother. Hate to say it. Harry's expecting a big inherited IRA. We know that, Harry. We're watching you because Harry's very upset that they got rid of the stretch IRA. I'm giving you a hard time, man. Let's see. Those medical costs Josh just gave. Oh, you literally don't know that. You did not run the numbers with these people, brother. I mean, come on. This is someone we are working on as we sit here today, and that is not low for them. You're not facing the AMT, Harry. You're just not, man. There's no AMT for the vast majority, unless you're making bank. Well, you do live in New York City, if memory serves, so I think you're making bank. Justin Lass says, no offense, he doesn't want to leave crap to the kids. on that, and freaking put it all in annuity and be done with it. That's what I do. Joint life, if you're married, joint life annuity, no survivor benefit, and part of that is 1999. We have no children, so we spend. What if, okay, Jeff says, what if you fill the 20% tax bracket? Does net worth go up or down? It went up. It went up. We did that. Absolutely. Oh, right on. Carl says he's planning on leaving 50% to his nephews, 50% to charity. My nieces are beautiful young ladies, so their future is set regardless, unless they practice hypergamy. So I don't even know what those two things are. All right. Real quick, while we're talking about this, remember, if you're leaving money to charity, that is your IRA money. If you're leaving money to kids, unless Sniffy Joe gets in, that is your post-tax money. I cannot stress this enough. Do not leave IRA money to kids and post-tax money to charity. That is a net loss in your overall estate to your kids and nephews or something like that. Always leave IRA money to charity because they receive that tax-free. And under the step-up rules, the kids will receive the taxes, the post-tax account tax-free as well. All right, we get to party. Nancy, me too, no kids. You all get to party like it's 1999, Patty, Nancy. Absolutely. Of course, you know how everyone's saying cash is trash? Send it to me. I'll take your trash. I will landfill. I will be a landfill for people's trash. Send your cash to me. I will landfill it in my backyard. Hell, I'll even let Pablo sniff it. You know what I'm saying? To prove, and he can pee on it too, and then I'll launder it. How many years? It depends. Mary says how many years they convert to Roth. It completely depended on how many years we had the money for, if that makes sense. So in this, there was no ending result. There was no end game here. It's going to convert to Roth until it's done. And I'm sure there's a million different ways to skin this cat. I don't even know, where do we ever get the term skin this cat? I shared that with my daughter the other day. She goes, that's a weird term. I said, yeah, it is a weird term. We're just doing the simplicity stuff of saying, look, they're going to convert to the tax bucket, at the max of the tax bracket, and then we'll go on. But if you want to do it in 5 fell swoop, you can do that. Just in this case, we're just doing it in for the tax bracket. All right. So basically, there is an 8% delayed earnings credits from FRA to your 70 years old. That's right. Before that, it's like 7.33 or something like that. Remember, it's based on the actual month. So you have some people, so you get an increase each month. It is each month. And so you take your 8% increase, essentially divide by 12, and that's what, 0.833 a month or something like that. Where do I get the spreadsheet? All right. Oops, I think I missed. All right, I missed a bunch. Hold on just a second. Yeah, here you go, Dean. Dan. Okay, so the spreadsheet. Well, what's the spreadsheet? So the spreadsheet. Bookmark a video, right on. There you go. So there's the samples are happy, Dan. So there's a video for bookmark it video, which is again just what is the net worth? I can't remember what the net worth was. One was is more in the 20. Oh, I forgot what the net worth was. The 22%. It was I think a little bit less actually because they had less time for that money to grow. They were happy after talking to me, Mary, because he was looking at hanging up. I mean, he said, look, he's done. He's done. And the funny thing is, don't forget, we're also assuming, I mean, this guy's young. What is he, 52, 56, 57 or something like that. The funny thing is, he's not going to sit there idle for the rest of his life. I mean, he'll probably go do something, maybe for an income or not. But that's the one thing that always kind of cracks me up is people say, I'll never make another dollar again. We don't know that to be true. I bet there's a good chance it will. Well, yeah, don't curse your wonderful pensions, brother. Hell no. Let's see. Make charitable donations to the horses. All right. What is it? Oh, we're going to talk about that. I do Roth conversions. However, most people, including planners, don't like paying taxes early. Contrary thinkers will enjoy the benefits of no taxes for the rest of their life. I completely agree, Steve. I have no idea, but you got to also look at the issue when it comes to the freaking Medicare stuff as well. And, if you got $1 million and you're 60 years old, by the time 72 rolls around, I mean, all you get was that if you got a 6% rate, I don't know what it'd be. That'd double your money in 12 years, I guess. So you have $2 million for which you got to start taking RMDs on. And, as that grows, that's going to increase your Medicare premiums well. The decision to go to the Roth 401k versus traditional way back was one of the best one wife and I made for her account. My thoughts on e-money. I loved e-money, Calvin. I'm a big e-money proponent and user until I went on my own. And then Right Capital is used a lot of if you go to e-money, you're familiar with it through Fidelity. The chassis is kind of same here on Right Capital. A lot of the similarities, which is great, except and I haven't used e-money in 3 years. All right. So when I first came doing this, my default was e-money, but they wanted 3 times the expense of what Right Capital was. It just wasn't worth it. It would have been worth it, except Right Capital on their 1040s. Nothing came close, dude. That Right Capital software on their 1040s, it was like what I just showed you. I don't know if e-money is doing it now, but nothing comes close. And for me, who likes the tax stuff, the e-money was great when it came to estate planning. Nothing comes close to e-money on estate planning. But when it comes to tax planning, Right Capital is superior for sure. By and large, e-money is a little bit superior. I'm not going to lie to you. But when it comes to tax stuff, nah, not close. And Right Capital is getting better by the day. Presumably, e-money is too, but I don't know that to be true because e-money is now owned by Fidelity, and they obviously want to bring it down market. And because they're bringing it down market, you got to wonder if they're adding. I don't know what they're doing, but you got to wonder, are they still making it? Updating it? I don't know. I've used Money Guide Pro, could not stand that. Naviplan was a joke. E-Money was great. Right Capital, second great. The Larry Kotlikoff, maximize your Social Security. That's good. Firecalc.com is free. That's good in terms of just your retirement planning, some basic stuff there. But E-Money, Right Capital, the Kotlikoff software is good. Naviplan, I could not stand. I hated Naviplan. Naviplan, but also Money Guy Pro. What if you had an established Roth account instead of a taxable account? Would it make sense to take money out of the Roth to pay taxes or convert to an IRA? Yeah, I mean, I guess. I don't know what else you're gonna. Oh, okay. You only have a Roth. I think I'd take debt on to do that instead. To be honest with you, I mean, hell, let's just say you got $10,000 in taxes. You could get a 0% credit card for a year and just pay that sucker off. That's what I would do. All right, let's talk about why Pink Floyd's album is one of the greatest albums released in the music history. Yeah, well, that's not, that will get you banned, my brother. Pink Floyd, the most overrated band of all time. How do I get Right Capital? He told you that stock market, so I forgot about Trump. All right. But Josh, why do the Roth aggressively if you aren't fully utilizing your standard deduction? And the market is doing what now? The looks like the S&P 500 is just down a little bit. Yeah, like I said, you can crunch these numbers any which way you want, Mike. I at the end of the day, I'm too simple. I'm just a caveman. I just want to make it simple. So I just say, look, for me, I just don't want to get that involved. I say, look, okay, I'm going to do, and this is what I told, was it these guys or someone else I was dealing with this last week? I said, just start with a nice $100,000 and just do it. And just keep doing $100,000 and you're going to be good to go. And don't make it harder than it needs to be. Like, for instance, I don't want to have to sit there and say, well, if I do $28,962, I'm still in the 22% tax bracket. But if I go $28,963, I'm in the 20 and whatever. It just bores me. And I think at the end of the day, there's so many moving parts, it doesn't matter. But I get what you're saying, but don't let analysis be the paralysis, if that makes sense. Patty says she wished she would have realized the power of the Roth years ago. I think it's too late. I don't know. If you're single, might well be, Patty. If you're married, I don't think it is. Barry says he's going to watch this again. Yeah, it'll be available after this. Ken says he got 2 pensions, moved my TSP to an IRA and started Roth conversions. Married, haven't filed Social Security yet. But I say Roth conversions may not be right for me. It might not be. I mean, that's the issue. You got $60,000 of Roth already got income before you're taking Social Security. So that'd give you, roughly $50,000 to stay in the 12% tax bracket before you were to get the 22% tax bracket. So you have $50,000 a year to convert. Yeah, why not? But at the end of the day, the one thing we don't want you to do is to go and put you in a higher tax bracket if there's no benefit of that at all. Now, I will tell you, because you're married, we'll just kill you off, Ken. And the beautiful Miss Waters is going to be stuck with a big tax hit if you leave her at $1 million in an IRA and a pension. So that's what you got to be worried about. So it could work. It could work. It's just not as crisp as someone who doesn't have a pension. Pension coming in 4 years. So I'm doing Roth now. Convert. Yep. That's right, Warren. Were you the guy who emailed me about Hawaii, Warren? I was just reading to or listening to who was it today? The YouTube channel that I will share with you guys. It was. Hold on just a second. I go to history because she's fantastic. It's Pamela Popper. Pamela Popper, big fan. And she was talking about Honolulu had issued something like 65,000 citations, arrested like hundreds of people. Freaking crazy, man. So Honolulu can kiss my butt. By the way, I love, if you're not familiar with him, the Rageaholic. Oh, that guy's, this is where YouTube is crazy. There's so many guys and ladies out there who are just fantastic, who just are incredible and not have to go through the mainstream media or not have to go through Hollywood or not have to go through the record company. There's so much talented people out there, and YouTube allows you to see these guys. So the Rageaholic, just let me tell you what he said about the debate. It's classically funny. It's nuts. He says, as he talked about the debate, and as for being infantile, I know for a fact that Trump didn't behave like a child because Biden didn't sniff him. I mean, how funny is that? And I'm not, the way he says, it's just classic. As for being infantile, I know for a fact that Trump did not behave like a child because Biden didn't sniff him. Oh my goodness. Hodge twins, right on, Jeff. Married with pension, 40K, still going to do Roth conversions? Yeah, I mean, oh boy. So Sergio doesn't like that I'm talking non-financial topics. Oh boy. I'm just for the financial topics. Well, I mean, we talk about everything, Rebecca. We talk about everything on here, man. Don't know what to tell you. As I said in a video yesterday, the idea that politics and retirement planning and finances are not aligned at the hip is fanciful, that's for sure. Shouldn't everyone try to start retirement by 50 years old? Yeah, dude. One of the things that I will say too, by the way, I was listening to it was a guy, Ohio State professor, I think. He had written an article basically talking about the virtues of college football. But to keep his job, he has to go through re-education camps. And I'm telling you, man, you read this groveling apology. It's insane. It's insane. I'm sitting there thinking, this is freaking Maoist crap. And it's an Ohio State University professor who he's so desperate to keep his job that he will do whatever. He will bend the knee to anyone to keep his job. That's not freedom, my friends. And I'm just telling you, that's freaking, I find that to be frightening to the 10th degree, because I'm sitting there thinking, and the groveling is he says, it's like literally listening to someone going through a Maoist re-education camp. It's nuts. All because he wants to keep his job, probably because he has too much debt. I'm telling you right now, I for our side of the aisle, you've got to get out of debt. You've got to. Now, trust, I'm looking at myself here. But if you don't get out of debt, man, you're at the whim of corporate America. And corporate America, for some reason, has thrown in with BLM. I don't know why. I don't get it. BLM, they're Marxists. They're the first, and you hear the old Twitter CEO the other day saying we're going to put capitalists up against the wall and shoot them, and he'll be happy to videotape it and provide commentary. Does he think he's going to escape the freaking guillotine? It's crazy. It's crazy. Now, I don't think these people are abundant. I don't, in terms of the nuts on the BLM Antifa left, but for some reason they are in college and whatnot. They're huge, and unfortunately, it all goes downstream from there. So, anyway, if you don't want to have to grovel in front of the satanics, which these people are, you got to get out of debt so you can quit your crappy old job. You got to, because let the groveling commence. And whoever is, I mean, the funny thing is too, if you look at the old communist history with the Bolsheviks. If your dad was a business owner, even a kulak, a farmer, yeah, he was the lowest on the list. You know what I'm saying? But if you had no, if you're a working class, if you had, all this, basically poor man's pedigree, you went to the top, supposedly. It's the same thing here. If you're, a Christian, married, straight, white guy, let's see, what else? A Christian, married, straight, white guy. There's something else. You are the lowest of the low. And if you're all these other things, they stack it based on, what you can say is your victimhood status. It's literally, we're going back to Maoist times. It's freaking frightening. It is. But it doesn't have to be frightening if you don't have to put up with that crap. And the way you put up with it, say, I'm not put up with that. See ya. Well, you guys can freaking, hang yourself by your own capitalistic rope that you sold to the Antifa BLM Marxists. Let's see. Yes, cash is great for composting. Send to my garden. Yes. Some people, there isn't a point where you do not want to convert. Isn't there a point where you do not want to convert all of your pre-tax? Yeah, absolutely. There's always a point, for sure. Rebecca, the first hour will be on the thing for later. For inherited Roth IRA, what is the tax consequence if the Roth has not been existing for 5 years? I don't know. I'm sure it's tax-free, but don't quote me on that, because at death, I know there's no penalty, so I presume it's tax-free. But I don't know, Warren. You have to look that up. I'll tell me I don't know. There's my man George. You got it, buddy. What's an attachable account? Oh, a taxable account. Yeah, if you can't do a Roth because you make too much, exactly. You buying this dip or heading for 3,100? I got no cash in which to buy, Quincy. I am fully invested right now, so no cash. My tech stuff is in the red today. Intel down. Okay. Exxon is hurting, is it? Yeah, I'm getting smashed on Exxon, that's for sure. Vote red for stocks going green. There you go. I like it. All right. The animals couldn't manage the farm. I'm glad I'm not white because of all this hatred towards the group of guilt of being forced on them. I wouldn't want to deal with it. Yeah, but at the end of the day, no one, you don't have any guilt unless you take it on yourself. You know what I'm saying? So I don't, whatever. It's actually funny too, because talk about the white privilege stuff, and the more I listen to it, the more it's just, you don't have, cops pulling you over at the middle of the night where you're worried about dying. I say, okay, well, if you follow the rules, you won't either, for the most part. But are there some? Yeah, I get it. You don't have people staring at you in the grocery store because you might theft. I'm like, yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't. I get that, but there's lots of other privileges we don't have, for sure. As we have to grovel to keep our jobs as white guys, and I sit there and I don't understand. I posted a link on my community tab the other day. We're talking about white privilege and how it infuriates, the white people. You keep doing it. You're just infuriating people, and it's not wholesome for society to say, I don't know anything about you, but you got privilege. The lady who had written that was talking about, how you can go to Walmart or Hallmark and you see all these charts on poor white trash and stuff and making fun and all that. And she goes, you can't do that by any other group. And part of the reason, because I think white people just beyond that, which is good. But the other part was that, she's saying it's still acceptable for non-whites to say this about whites, whereas whites can't say anything negative about any other race. Why is it still acceptable for non-whites to say this about whites? And I think there's something to be said about that. No one should be saying you have a privilege if they don't walk your shoes. I don't care if you have never been in my shoes, you don't know my privilege. You don't. So stop it. And if you think you do, you're racist. That's all there is to it. I don't care if you're black. I don't care if you're white. I don't care if you're green. I don't care if you're yellow. I don't care if you're pink. Until you walk in somebody else's shoes, just stop. You don't know anything about anybody. The problem, of course, though, is that for some reason, a lot of wealthy, well-to-do suburban whites have bought this hook, line, and sinker. Like I was saying the other, like I posted in a community tab, the whole thing with white privilege came from some wealthy inherited lady who literally was able to travel around the world on her daddy's money and said, man, I got a privilege that very few people do. I'm white, and as such, I'm privileged, I'm white, and we're going to make that meet. And it's just silly, man. So she's attributing to everybody else with the same paleness what she has, which is nuts. And unfortunately, somehow that has seeped into modern society. It's weird. I'll never forget when I first went to college. and there's a celebrate diversity everywhere. I was like, it was just like they got the mark. This was in 1992. I got the military. I went to George Mason. It's like celebrate diversity everywhere. It's like and now we don't celebrate that. Now that code word is gone, not code word, but that marching orders are gone. Now it's diversity, inclusion, and equity, along with white privilege. It's like they have these marching orders. I'm like, who actually gives the orders? Like, I want to know who that person is. So, we're going to come up with a new term today. We're going to call it white privilege. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. It's all rich snots who literally have privilege and they have guilt and they don't like it, but they don't want to have their privilege taken away. So they assign guilt to everybody else. The white liberal, just Malcolm X said it. He's not your friends, my friend. The white liberal is not your friends. I don't care if you're white, if you're poor, if you're black, if you're rich. I don't care. The white liberal is not your friends. All there is to it. Now, are any liberals your friends? Probably not. But at least the white liberals who act as if they're going to solve the world's problems because they care, not your friends. And I would say, yeah, most Dan, I tell you what, right now, man, I every single time I talk to somebody who's about ready to retire, I ask them what kind of car they drive. Every single time, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. 2012 Toyota Camry, 2008-9 Ford F-150, something along those lines. Every single time. It's not rocket science. It's common sense. Don't spend money you don't have, and you're gonna be just fine. All right, that's pretty much it for the time being, guys. I will again. So real quick, while I got y'all, my book is done. It's not ready for print. Now I got to do the hard part, which is I got to put it on the Amazon stuff to get it uploaded. I have a bunch of designs on the cover that I'm looking at for sure. And if you are one of my Subscribe Star patrons, you will see those designs and you have a chance to vote on them like you did in my Roth conversion book, which is still coming. And those will be out shortly. So the design on that will be coming. If you are interested in a pre-order of the book, if you are a Subscribe Star member of mine, you will get not a pre-order, but you will get a copy. For sure. I will send you a copy. So if you want to support me, it's subscribestar.com/Josh Scanlon for $10 a month or more if you want. I got two topics, $25 a month or 10 a month. You can support me. And every once a month or every now and again, twice a month, we'll do Subscribe Star only live streams like this where you can even call in. And then they get whatever content I produce, books and things like that, they always have access to for free. So if you're a Subscribe Star person, support me, you will get a free copy of the book, a real hard copy, not a Kindle. I'll get that out to it. Probably still going to be probably another month before it's done because the uploading it to Kindle is a pain in the butt. If you are the 25 member of my Subscribe Star book thing, you will get a signed copy. So if you are a Subscribe Star member and you are in the 25 category, I will send you a signed copy for sure for free. More to come on all this. I will probably have a pre-order of the book signed for a certain fee as I get closer to the date. It's not there yet, but I will get that to you absolutely. So appreciate y'all being here. More to come. Hang in there. We'll see you guys on Sunday at 1900. That's 7:00 p.m. Eastern time Sunday, and we'll see you guys then. Thanks for being here. Much obliged.